Welcome into Boxing Scene Today here at the ProBox TV studios. Well, comebacks. That's right. There's a story in boxing. Well, it looks like Caleb Plant coming back May 31st on a PBC card that may also include Plant-Charlo. Could they be fighting one another? They had a dust-up backstage a couple of years ago. Is it a possibility? We discussed the future of both of these fighters. Jimmy Smith in studio alongside the champs, Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi. Folks, there are evergreen fights, which means as long as there's beef, as long as there's bad blood, which, by the way, Paulie absolutely loves, a fight ages well. They could be on a losing streak, still fight one another, and it makes sense. Is Charlo versus Plant one of those fights where the bad blood sells it, even if they're diminished to the point where you could save it a little bit? Or should they fight kind of while people remember the bad blood? Chris, what's your thought? Should they fight one another or have separate fights and build up to that one?
Well, I think, absolutely, this fight still sells. Everyone speaks beef. These guys have there's a narrative already for the fight. Caleb Plant and him got into it, smacked.
Literally got into a fight.
Literally got into a fight in the back of I think it was the Spence Crawford weigh-ins. So that's there, and that's not going away. And all they got to do when it's time to roll this fight out, whether it happens now or 6 months from now or even a year from now, you just roll out that tape, guys. We got video of everything. This is 2025. You roll that out, you sell it off that. I think the idea is to get them on a twin bill. So Charlo needs to get back being active.
Yes.
Caleb Plant hasn't been all that active, but he did fight Trevor McCumbee, a couple months back on the Canelo card. So he's been a lot more recently active. But if you get them both on the same card, old school, put them on the same bill, get that hype going. You're putting them in the same room again. They obviously, that beef is real. These guys are not making that up. They're not doing that for the cameras. They're going to get into it once again, and it's just going to sell it that much more.
What I'm curious about, Paulie, because I remember watching the fight with you, the Trevor McCumbee fight, Caleb Plant, and you said you thought he looked good, still definitely a factor in the super middleweight division. McCumbee put up a better than expected fight, but Plant proved that he can still be very, very exciting. What were your thoughts on him and his future after that fight? Because we saw it together.
Caleb, I like that. He kind of got his bearings going. Once he got his bearings going, he showed he had the desire. He put together the punches, and he showed that not only is the desire and the mental fortitude still there, but to be able to get up off the canvas and, kind of after a rocky start, that shows that you still have the fighting mentality inside you, and then turn the fight around, because it takes an effort to do that. It takes a mental and physical effort to do that. And then he showed he had the skills as well in the manner in which he was able to do that as well.
And some new skills, because he fought on the inside really well that fight.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm going to answer the same question the champ said. Absolutely not. This fight, I don't know. This is like the ship sailed. It's like not only did it sail, it's out of sight already. It's gone. Like what do we? Why do we gotta try to fit square pegs into round holes, dude? Like then we complain about the guy in the Middle East taking over boxing.
Dude,
you're selling garbage to garbage, man. You're selling garbage to garbage, man. Then you wonder why the guy in the Middle East talks about he's gonna take over. You're gonna put this BS on pay-per-view. Nobody's gonna care about it. People are gonna complain about it, and then you're gonna complain about the guy in the Middle East. He's taking the fights over there. Of course, he's taking the fights over there. Look at the garbage we're talking about putting on TV over here. You kidding me? This fight a couple of years ago, when the slap happened, the slap heard around the world. All right, bro. You time it right. That's it. The ship was on. All aboard. Get on board and let's ride, bro.
Watch this thing sell. Watch it sell.
This thing sailed so far already. It's already came back and picked up a new crew and went back out again. That's it. It's gone, bro.
We pull 60-year-old Mike Tyson at a fight. Come on, dude.
We're not on
names sell, dude. Their names and they got beef. It'll sell. I'm telling
you. What names? Mike Tyson's Mike Tyson. He stands alone. You can't put Mike Tyson selling at 60
No
years
one's
old.
saying you can't do what you want to do.
How many losses Charlo have? How many losses Charlo have?
Not only did Charlo have, it doesn't matter.
Zero.
He's washing himself away. His last win is against Jose Benavidez, whose best years were at 140.
In 2023, by the way.
In 2023, by the way. Come on, dude. What am I doing over here?
All right, so pause.
You're acting like this is new. This is
and this is after PBC put in the Lamont Roach fight with Gervonta, where it ended up being good because Lamont stepped up when he wasn't supposed to, technically. Because you went into that fight as a 16-1 favorite. You would put a guy 16-1 favorite in a pay-per-view main event. What are we doing, bro? What is that?
Well, that's a bad example. That one worked.
Yeah, that worked. But that's
what I'm saying. What are you? Don't it's a crapshoot every time. Why not make fights that people know are going to be good?
Especially if you're going to use that example.
Also, that won't work because Gervonta ended up showing he's overrated, not because it worked.
But you know what? I also worked. It sold. It sold. There was over 19,000 people in the Barclays Center, dude. It doesn't matter.
It was packed.
It doesn't matter. The fight
But, all right,
sells.
here's my question for you, Paulie. When Paulie starts doing this, I lose him. I just lose him 100%. Here's what I'm. Could that fight be built up?
Like I'm trying to make it work, guys. I'm on your side. Yeah, but you're killing me. It's hard to stand up for somebody who, when somebody comes and complains about you, like, oh, this guy sucks. He does this. Like, he steals, he robs, he does this, and you're like, no, you're just misunderstanding him. Don't worry, you don't get him. And then it keeps happening. And how am I gonna keep defending you, bro? You know what I mean? What am I gonna do?
But is there any way
who's
to
he
you?
talking about,
I don't know. But if
no, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the non-Saudi part of boxing. Like,
right.
We're talking about the Saudis, and you know what? I'm all in suspicion of the Saudis, the TKO and all this stuff. I get it, but then like I gotta defend this. This is your alternative? What are your alternatives, my cousin Vinny? What are my alternatives? Oh, a counteroffer. In my word line, what do we call that counteroffer? This is the counteroffer?
Right,
Charlo, Caleb Plant, a fight that was good 3 years ago? Come on, bro.
Could it be? All right, let's say May 31st. Let's say May 31st. Let's say May 31st, they fight different opponents. They both look good. To Chris's point, they're in the same place. The beef starts
Who
building
are they
up
going to
again.
fight? This guy just fought Jose Benavidez 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's his last win. We don't know how he's going to come out. He didn't look great that fight either.
If he looks good, could the fight be made? If
Yo,
they
listen,
both look good,
I'll tell
could it
you
be
what.
made? I'm
Give me
trying to be
Caleb
nice.
against anybody. Caleb is still interesting.
Thank you.
The McCumbee fight made him interesting.
Thank you,
I
Chris.
don't need the Charlo fight, dude.
Coming
I
over,
don't need the Charlo fight, and I don't need Charlo to come right back into a main event. Let Charlo rebuild himself. A couple of fights, see how he looks against opposition that we actually recognize, not some plumber.
So that's the point.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So what if we
Yeah,
get?
if
All right.
Caleb but in the meantime, Caleb is going to be deserving of super fights. He's not. Caleb shouldn't have to fight on the card fights because he's got to wait for this guy to get himself
looked good.
back up there.
No.
Caleb should be in main event fights.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, Caleb could get beat feasibly because he's going to be in dangerous
you
fights.
put Caleb and Edgar Berlanga. You put Charlo and who would he
Lester
be?
Martinez.
Lester Martinez.
Who? Charlo and Lester Martinez.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just throwing that
So
out
you want
there.
the fight to not happen
Pro
in the end
box,
anyway?
throwing that out there.
So you want the fight to not happen then? Because we talking about we got to make
Listen.
this fight. It's the beef and everything. You're going to put Charlo and Lester Martinez.
listen,
The fight doesn't happen.
I'm not saying he should be hand walked to the fight. You can still got to earn it. He's still got to fight. I told you I don't want him to go right into it.
You did? You did say
He's
that.
got to have a fight first.
There, see, Paulie? See?
No, I don't agree. No.
You make it a good car. You make it a good twin bill.
Yes. I'm on Chris's side where it could be built maybe the right way.
No, if you do it that way, you're not going to get Caleb and Charlo. You're
'Cause
going
Charlo will
to
lose
get,
before.
get Caleb or
Then you'll be happy. It all
Caleb or
works out.
Berlanga against Lester. If you make that, that's what you're going to get.
Done.
He's not going to beat Lester at this point in time.
I'm not mad at that either.
And I was one of the guys. Before everybody gets on me, I was one of the guys, and when Charlo was Charlo in his prime, I was telling you he would have beat Canelo. So you know how I used to be on Charlo.
Right.
Okay? But I'm not on the bandwagon permanently, guys. Just because I like you one day doesn't mean I like you another day. You got to keep proving yourself. Charlo, to me, is not proven anymore.
Did you ever like Canelo? Was that ever?
Yeah, bro. When he went on the Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith run.
That run, yeah.
absolutely. That was a nice run.
All right. Because if you hated him, if you didn't like him during that, you're literally just a hater.
But okay,
Because that was awesome.
Right. So let's take it back a little bit and refocus a
I
little
mean, I
bit.
didn't like Rocky Fielding. Don't get me wrong, but whatever.
I mean, Rocky Fielding didn't like being in the fight either.
we can't blame him.
Let's walk it back a little bit because Trevor McCumbee, one of those guys that Plant, even not knowing exactly where he was supposed to outbox and look really good. He looked very exciting. He did look very hittable in that fight. Do you think his timeline got shortened a little bit with that fight? Like, he's taking punches from guys who were wild punches, a lot of fat on his punches, still getting hit, entertaining, but did his shelf life get a little bit shorter to you, Chris?
No,
after
his
seeing that
shelf
fight?
life got shorter
Please.
for him staying out for so long. I think that fight actually allowed him to look vulnerable, so more people will actually take that fight now. Even some of these guys coming up like, whoa, he's a little beatable now. He don't look that big at 68. He didn't look strong enough for Trevor McCumbee. Yep. I saw that and I was like, wow, I could actually see Edgar and Plant in a good fight now.
Big, thick
because Edgar's very big for the weight class, as is Trevor McCumbee. Trevor McCumbee very, very strong for 168, and he showed that with physical raw power, you can give Plant some trouble at least early on. A guy like Berlanga, who I think has got a little more hand speed than Trevor McCumbee, that's a real fight. That's a real fight now, and I didn't really think it was until I saw that. So now I think some of these younger guys coming up be like, all right, Plant might be actually right for the taking now. So I don't think I think it actually sped up his timeline in a good way.
Now, when you look at it, let's imagine it is Berlanga versus Plant. Paulie, how would you see that fight going, considering their last fights? Remember, Berlanga did not make weight last time out. Some people questioning his card placement, his motivation, stuff like that. Caleb Plant came out hungry last time.
Yeah. And I'd favor Caleb a bit, but it would be an interesting fight. I think Berlanga takes some key experience from the Canelo fight. I think that him just going those 12 rounds. I don't believe Berlanga gave himself the chance to win the Canelo fight. I really think he was satisfied to go the distance. But I think in going the distance and going those 12 rounds, I think it'll give him motivation to try and beat guys like Caleb and other guys. You know, I think now he says, okay, you know what? I belong in the ring at this level. I've convinced myself I can actually go and try to win the fight. So I do think you would get kind of a shootout in the Plant and Berlanga fight. But if Plant is what he showed in the McCombie fight, where he still got those skills and he showed, you know, that versatility, I see him having a little bit more for Berlanga. But let's see. Berlanga can make weight anymore.
Yeah, but also it's one of those things where I think, and please correct me, you guys know better than I do, it seemed to me as though Berlanga got chin checked and went, okay, I'll go 12. Right? Remember, he took power from Canelo early. Plant's going to chin check you early. He's just the kind of guy to be aggressive early. What's your
I
thought?
think Canelo chin check is different than a Caleb Plant.
So you see them as different categories of chin check.
But Caleb assaults you, though.
Yeah.
Caleb
He throws combinations.
That's what
Caleb's
I mean.
a goon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll test you if you don't want to be there.
And sometimes, and it's funny because Caleb will sometimes come out to an early lead where he's, you know, blasting you with shots, and then sometimes fading late. We saw that in the
Canelo fight.
The Canelo fight, the Benavidez fight, and who did he win the title from? I'm drawing a blank with that crazy
the Venezuelan
name.
guy.
Yeah. In that fight, he came out to
Uzcategui.
yeah. So he dropped him like 3 times, but then at the end of the fight, Uzcategui came back and was like really like pushing Plant. So and then sometimes he has to find it late, like he did against Mukambi. So he is a very versatile fighter. He's got a lot of experience. But I think in terms of comparing him with Canelo and the Berlanga situation, I agree with the champ. It seemed to me like Berlanga showed that he's belongs in the ring with a guy like Canelo, but didn't think he deserved to win. He didn't think he belonged there to actually take the victory. Possibly he learned from that fight. He's like, yo, not only do I belong here, I can actually beat these guys. And I think he actually is going to be a better fighter moving forward. So then it's one of those things. It's like, at what point are we looking at these guys' careers? Because, yes, I would favor Caleb Plant based on experience and what we've seen in the past. But also, he's an aging Caleb Plant. And Berlanga is growing. And not only growing in size, I mean growing in profile and his ability and his own understanding of what he's got. So that's an interesting fight.
All right, at the risk of Paulie's head exploding, is there a good fight for Charlo that are all the good fights not winnable for him at this point?
He's got to build up to it. He's got to build up to it. He's got to build up to it. Like I'd rather.
What if he fought Mukambi?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, make him fight Mukambi.
Make a fight Mukambi. Okay. If he can do better.
Yeah, because Mukambi lost against Plant,
but he hurt
in a competitive fight.
Yeah. If he goes out there and he dominates Mukambi and stops him, then it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy you got to fight. Yeah,
it's what we do. All right, so PBC, if you're listening, that's the fight to make. You heard it right here. Charlo versus Mukambi. It looks like Berlanga versus Plant. Once again, May 31st on PBC. As it make news,
is that what's going to be on?
That's what it looks like.
That's what we're deciding.
That's what
we're deciding. Right, Plant, Berlanga, and Charlo versus Mukambi.
That's what we're deciding.
I like it.
You like it?
See?
Take a page out of BoxingScene Today, Jimmy. Go ahead.
We turned him around.
I'm sorry I cut you off, Jimmy. I just wanted to confirm that
we made the fight.
I didn't think I was hearing.
No, we made the fight. Right. It's already done. PBC, take notes. May 31st. That's right. It's going down. As it makes news, it'll make news right here. Boxing Scene Today. Find out why millions are watching.